Hi, this is Debbie, and today I'm going to be taking a closer look at the Happy Thanksgiving set by Hero Arts. This is a Stamptember exclusive for Simon Says Stamp. This will be one of my slightly more rough and ready videos. I turned the video camera on as I was making the card, but wasn't always concentrating on being fully in screen or the fact that there was sunshine coming in through the window and casting quite a few shadows. However, I still hope you'll enjoy following along. So far I've been using the small pumpkin image to stamp on a post-it note and then cut those out to create some masks that I can use later on when I'm making the card. I've got a piece of Archer's cold press watercolour card in the Mini Misty, and I've drawn a rectangle on there in pencil, and that's the area that I'm going to try and concentrate my stamping on. As my stamp is now inky, I'm using a piece of acetate to protect the watercolour card from getting ink where I don't want it while I work out the placement of the first pumpkin. I usually use VersaFine Onyx Black when I'm stamping for watercolouring. However, I didn't want a black outline to these pumpkins. I wanted something slightly more autumnal, and so I dug around in my old stash of ink pads and I found this vintage sepia one. I'm continuing to use the piece of acetate to help protect my watercolour card from any inky smudges while I stamp multiple pumpkins, and I'm using the post-it mass so that the pumpkins appear to be one in front of the other, and I'm going to keep stamping pumpkins until I've got a full pumpkin patch. Now that I've got the front of the scene set, I wanted to create a background, and I'm sketching that freehand with a pencil, just a simple tree trunk and a couple of bushes. This background and the painting of this card are influenced by somebody I follow on Instagram called Irreveal. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce her name, but I will leave a link in the YouTube description. Ira is a wonderful German artist and illustrator, and I thought her style of using lots of warm browns and neutrals would really suit this autumnal card. For her paintings, Ira uses lots of light layers of watercolour, and I'm going to try that today. I'm going to play some music as I'm slightly choked with a cold and I don't want to cough and splutter all the way through this. I want you to enjoy the painting with some music going along, and then I'll be back towards the end of the video. hope you were able to still follow along despite the rays of sunshine coming across at times. I've let the panel dry and I've trimmed it down, and now I'm adding some shading with some Prismacolor pencils, just some light shading here and there to add some detail. With the layers of watercolour and then the Prismacolor pencils on top, I've actually lost some of the outlines of the pumpkins, and so I'm going to use a brown marker just to draw those back in so that they're a little bit more defined. I've cut a card base from my favourite fog card, and now I've placed that into the Mini Misty, and I'm trying to work out where I'd like to place a sentiment. I know I want a simple sentiment in white heat embossing just below the watercoloured panel, and so I've lined up the Season of Thanks on the Mini Misty, and then I'm going to treat the card with some EK Success powder tool before stamping in Versamark and then white heat embossing. All that was left to do to complete the card was to mount the watercoloured panel above the embossed sentiment with some foam adhesive. I want to thank you for joining me through this slightly more rough and ready video, but I felt it was better to put this video up than not to put one up at all. I will leave links to the products that I've used in the YouTube description below, and I'll also leave a link to the German illustrator I mentioned as well. And finally, I'll leave a link to my coordinating blog post too. I'll leave you with some photographs, and if you've enjoyed this video, then I'd be delighted if you consider subscribing. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.